Hi friends. Today I am going to review the book, Transforming Project Management, an essential paradigm for turning your strategic planning into action by Duane Petersen. Strategic planners and project managers must collaborate. Strategic planners and project managers may have different ways of thinking and communicating that impede them working toward common goals. Include a project manager on every strategic planning team, so you factor in his or her insights and expertise at the outset. Strategic planners can improve project outcomes by helping project managers understand how their project factors into the overall strategic plan and the planning process. Strategic planners must avoid favoritism, have the backing of the client, business or organization, face issues head-on, be willing to question existing organizational structures, and manage internal and external relationships. Project management needs to up its game. Project managers have room for improvement, too. Project management must develop the sophistication to estimate time and budget parameters correctly at the start of jobs. It takes professional diligence to produce consistently satisfying results when handling such variables as risk management, monitoring, emerging best practices and contracting. Project managers need to be clear about the definition of success for each project, effectively apply work breakdown structure strategies, and create network diagrams to show the order of operations and the critical path for each project. They must attend to everything involved in completing a job, not only those aspects that appear on the critical path. The project manager can provide the most value by streamlining the project wherever possible and by performing risk response planning. Project managers should avoid giving too much weight to the schedule performance index, which tells you whether you're on track but doesn't adequately account for limiting time factors. Develop a realistic budget and monitor it. Top managers' rough order of magnitude budget estimates are rarely accurate or useful. Instead, bring in multiple subject matter experts who are not otherwise associated with the project to break it down into steps, estimate the costs of the various steps, add them up, and factor in the risks and costs associated with each one of them, including the time value of risk, the cost of delay. Include non-productive time and non-work time, which can make up 70% of all work time, as well as meetings, initiation and planning phases, project manager expenses, recruiting and training, and incentives. Consider observing workers on the job to gain more accurate estimates of non-productive and non-working time. Never allow people to know who is being measured at any time. Monitor the budget carefully. Top project managers go beyond the traditional red, yellow and green indicators. They apply the earned value approach, which calculates the value of accomplishments along the way and adds them up. This enables managers to compare them with the costs accrued to date. Include all variables, especially those project managers don't always factor in, including expenses associated with risk. This allows you to calculate useful numbers, such as cost performance index, estimate at completion, estimate to complete, budget variance and internal rate of return. The internal rate of return, in particular, is valuable for determining whether to continue a project or to shift gears to cut losses. Budget monitoring allows banks, taxpayers and beneficiaries to assess the performance of projects they support. Develop a realistic schedule and track it. Consider information about the nature of the project to determine which steps depend on which other steps to identify the most efficient process for completing each. Create a network diagram showing the various activities and milestones the project demands. Factor in capacity planning and the time value of risk. Identify the critical path, the longest path from start to finish that incorporates the longest times for each step. Monitor the critical path and the shorter paths that bring in other simultaneous steps. Conventional project management uses the proportion of the total budget spent in each time period to discern if the project is on track time-wise. Instead, use a network diagram that shows the steps of the project and its associated Gantt chart. Make a schedule by translating hours to days, using the critical path to identify the earliest start and finish dates. Then apply this information to identify less intense places in the schedule where you might add in training, days off, and so on. Use the Gantt chart to schedule meetings and adjust the schedule as needed. When projects are run perfectly, there should never be any cost overruns. Identify dependencies among discretionary activities, and use this information to identify ways to fast-track, perform tasks simultaneously, and thus improve time and budget efficiencies. Be forward-looking and precise about contracts. The first rule of smart contracting is to be ethical. Second, understand that verbal modifications can be binding, so stipulate in the original contract that all modifications must be made in writing. Third, limit subcontracting or add stipulations that allow you to retain control of agreements, lest you be left without recourse if subcontractors fail to deliver as your contractor requested. Specify in the contract what would be considered a breach and what happens if a breach occurs. Provide timely notice of anything you perceive as a breach, but don't nitpick to avoid having to deliver on your end of the agreement. Understand the various types of contracts. In general, cost plus fixed fee and cost plus incentive fee are better than cost plus percentage of cost and fixed price contracts, since the latter two can lead to unnecessarily high costs. Consider various angles before approving changes to scope. When someone suggests a change to the scope of your project, consider the implications for all aspects of your work. Assess whether the benefits of disrupting the status quo override potential downsides. Document the request, and share the needed information with those responsible for approving the change. This process, known as integrated change control, starts with a clear change request. Review the work breakdown structure to assess the parts of the project the proposed change might affect. Evaluate the impact on budget, risk, schedule and other elements. Do not make a change without approval, even if you think it won't affect the cost or timing. No change is without ramifications that affect crucial project parameters. Once you're clear on the impacts across the entire project, weigh the up and downsides and determine whether the benefits outweigh the costs. Because different people place different value on various attributes of a project, consider multiple perspectives on the worthiness of the proposed change. Software that models the as-is, and to-be workflows can help capture implications of the proposed change to inform your decision accurately. Use an agile approach where appropriate. The agile approach to project management provides speed and adaptability. It's appropriate for certain projects, such as developing software or a cell phone or other long-term, ongoing projects, but not for others, like building a highway. Agile management's main advantage is that it enables your company to reap benefits from the project along the way, rather than having to wait for the project's completion. Agile also enables you to make changes as you go without the time and expense of formal change management. On the downside, Agile is less supportive of strategic planning. It lacks a defined endpoint, and it can complicate your ability to provide classified status reports. In many cases, the best strategy may be a hybrid approach, modifying traditional project management to incorporate elements of Agile. To do this, formulate a regular work plan that includes change control, but instead of breaking the plan into deliverables, break it into agile sprints, short periods of focused work, with a deliverable at the end of each sprint and a final deliverable. Engage the right people. At least in software development, The standard procedure for choosing a project manager is to select someone who's done it before and to benefit from that person's experience and expertise. However, too often these managers turn out to be subject matter experts rather than project management experts. As good as they might be at coding, for instance, they may lack the necessary people skills, training in professional project management or competency in providing the necessary project management work, such as status reports. Time constraints can impede simultaneously developing software and managing the project. Focus your search for a project manager on trained, certified project management professionals. Ask interview questions that delve into important traits, such as how someone handles failures and his or her experience in setting budgets. Be wary of candidates who overemphasize Agile as a project management approach. Put spirit into the business. Make people feel cared about, and people will become passionate about doing the work. Make sure your organization or business leaders have engaging personalities. Listen attentively, motivate well, hold staff accountable, create trust, respect and care about team members, practice honesty and gratitude, offer praise and encouragement, and give positive feedback. To create change productively, you must incite urgency, build the right team, have a vision and communicate it, get rid of obstacles, build in near-term wins, anchor any changes in your culture and avoid calling a step a win too soon in the process. Be strategic about quality. Distinguish between product and project quality. Project quality means meeting objectives on time and on budget. Match the level of accuracy to the need. If you are the project manager, know the level of quality you must achieve. If you meet that standard and the client isn't happy with the quality, have the client address the issue with a change request. Check in regularly along the way, confirming that what you're delivering is what the client wants. If clients realize they didn't request what they actually want, you can correct your course early to achieve a happier outcome. Utilize software and certification. Strategic planning software can be valuable for guiding SWOT analyses and expanding thinking during the strategy phase. Project management software can help streamline and enhance the quality of various professional practices, including chartering the project, developing the work breakdown structure, creating budgets and schedules, ensuring that the right people are on board, ensuring you hit quality targets and generating status reports. This approach ensures that those who are financing a project, whether a bank or government agency, and thus, the taxpayers, get what they ask from a project, on time and on budget. Similarly, earning professional credentials, such as project management certification, can help you succeed as a project manager. Takeaways. Strategic planners and project managers must collaborate. Project management needs to up its game. Develop a realistic budget and monitor it. Develop a realistic schedule and track it. Be forward-looking and precise about contracts. Consider various angles before approving changes to scope. Use an agile approach where appropriate. Engage the right people. Be strategic about quality. Utilize software and certification. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel for more content like this. Like, share and subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with our latest videos and content. I hope these suggestions help you out. Let me know if you have any other questions.